This is the Saucony Endorphin Azura. Today we're going to go ahead and take it through its paces. We're going to run a mile at 10-minute pace, 8:30, and something under 7-minute like we normally do for these reviews. This is Saucony's daily trainer with their super foam in it. So it has a PIBA foam right here. This is their Power Run PB. It is all the way through the foam. It's a relatively light shoe coming in at 8.5 ounces. And really the story here, I think, is the really aggressive geometry. I think this is what you at home are going to care about, is how aggressive this rocker here is at the front of the shoe. A lot of the Endorphin line uses the speed roll technology, which is, again, this real aggressive geometry here. The other thing of note is it's a relatively firm shoe. So while the energy return is very high, it's above 70%, which for a shoe at $150 price point is really impressive. I do think it's going to be a personal touch. Who likes a firm shoe that has ground feel, that has a real aggressive rocker? Those are all things that I'm coming into this run expecting. I'll put the run repeat numbers up here just because I think they're useful to have. As always, I care more about how it feels. Do I feel like it's worth ending up in a rotation? Is it worth spending your money on? And those are all things that I want to answer in today's video. So I'll go through and I'm going to keep each one of those things in mind while I'm running. I'm going to go ahead and take you through the fit and feel of the shoe. I'm going to do a squish test, a walk test, and then we'll go ahead and get into our miles. At the end, I'm going to go through and tell you if I think it should end up in a rotation. If it does, like, can this be your one shoe that does everything for you? Do you want something different for a long run, or do you need something for easier miles? Like, can this do the 10-minute pace well, where you're not like overly trying to push? And then how does it compare against all of the other pieces in the category? The Evo SLs, the Rebels, the Nova Blasts, those are all shoes that this is trying to say, I'm better than you, and you at home have to decide if this one is worth grabbing compared to any of the other shoes that we just mentioned. Again, with that whole segment, there is not a plate in here, so that is not anything of note. I do have the Endorphin Pro 4, which is what I ran my half marathon PR in, and I actually really like it. A lot of the run repeat numbers are also similar from this to that shoe. However, the Endorphin Pro 4 is a little softer. It does have some of the Power Run HG, which is Saucony's like really top tier foam, one step above the Power Run PB. So I'm curious how this ends up feeling on foot. So that's what we're going to go ahead and do next. All right, so popping these on foot, I'm going to go ahead and pop the Ultra work shoes off. As always, we have Ontos running socks. Ontos is my brand, so would always appreciate any support if you find reviews like this valuable. I do make some apparel if you need to add anything to your wardrobe. Obviously would love some support with that. But to the shoe here, we'll throw this out of the way and we will pop the other one on. So as I'm putting this on here, I am noticing the laces are like super duper long here. The fit is actually pretty secure. So while I don't really feel the need to do the runner's loop, I'm going to do it just so it takes up a little bit of extra lace here. As I'm tying this up, I definitely get this like nice lockdown feel right here. The tongue here is gusseted through the shoe and it feels really nice here. I feel like that's something that Saucony does well, is it feels like they do a good job giving you a nice firm lockdown, and we'll see how that translates on my run, but I feel like it's going to be nice. So fit-wise, feel-wise, sizing-wise, each one of those, I would say go very much standard. You're true to size. If you need a wide, you'd probably need a wide in these. If you go standard, probably standard. Lengthwise, I feel like I've got 3/4 of a thumb, which is about my favorite fit for a shoe. I don't love when I've got a full thumb or more, but I also don't love when my toes jammed up at the front. And so far, so good here. No real complaints. Let's do a squish test and a walk test. All right, so squish test here. I mean, run repeat numbers said it was supposed to be pretty firm, but that feels pretty good. You can actually also see how aggressive this rocker is just with me standing here. My toes are like kind of rocked up, but no, heel feels good. Forefoot feels pretty good. Let's see, how's this do stability wise? feels fine here. No, I'm not mad at the on-foot feel at all. A little bounce. Definitely softer in the heel, so I can feel there's like a substantial difference in softness heel to forefoot. Hopefully that translates to a nice feel as we're running. All right, as we walk here, we are, I don't know, we're not feeling too much crazy. It's also raining here, as you can see, the ground's really wet. So we're gonna get a really good feel for how good the traction is on these. I don't know, these feel pretty good. I was a little hesitant with them. I think I've had them on in store just one time. But no, I'm excited to get some running in these. Now with the walk test done, all we have to do is go ahead and start our run. We're off and we're gonna get first thoughts here. For how firm the run repeat numbers said this was supposed to be, it's actually pretty good. I like this for the first couple of steps we've got here. Definitely not too firm, not too much of anything. We'll see how it does at this 10-minute pace. I definitely started a little quick because it feels nice. So we'll go ahead and slow our roll. And we'll check in a minute. Okay, just about a half mile in here, a little beyond it, about 1K. And we are hanging about 9:48 pace. This feels very nice at this easy pace. Feels like it helps you transition through your stride. It's not like a weird geometry. Sometimes when you have like a really aggressive rocker, it can feel like, I don't know, too much sometimes, or like if you're not running fast, it can have an awkward feel to it. This definitely feels, at least to me, more open to some easier paces than like the Evo SL. This is more like towards the Nova Blast range, where like the Evo, didn't love running slow in that. This feels like it's got more cushion underfoot. I don't really know why, but it's good. I like that feeling. I'll keep thinking about what's going on at this 10-minute pace as we finish the mile, and then we'll check back in. So pretty bang on there. That was good. Good pacing. 9:59 for the first mile here. That felt very nice. I am like pleasantly surprised with that. Looks like the rain maybe let up a little bit. It's funny how few people end up outside running. Like just a little bit of rain keeps so many people away. We do have a dude that just ran by. Love that. Stay out there. Anywho, traction felt really good, even with, I mean, pavement is clearly very wet. We've even got some puddles over here. But yeah, good traction, plenty of cushion. That was like one of the things I was worried about. But no problem there whatsoever. Rocker was not too aggressive. I'm excited to just get into the next mile and see what happens when we put a little bit of juice into the shoe. I think, just based on how that felt, I think that rocker will get more aggressive as we get faster and the transition will happen faster. Heel still feels a little softer than forefoot. As I was like thinking, hey, try and push through the rocker a little more at the easy paces. It felt very amiable to doing that, so it was very willing to roll to the forefoot. Good start. As always, at the end of this, I will do the stride in these, see how they feel. The ankle is, fortunately, feeling better. Still get 1 or 2 strides. We'll see, but I always like giving you guys more than I tell you you're going to get. So with that said, we're going to go ahead and start rep number 2 here. See how we go. So that is almost our half mile in, hanging out at 8:34 and going back this other way. So I expected the rocker was going to feel more aggressive or more pronounced maybe here. What it also did was make it want to feel more playful. So a little more like encouragement to go faster than what I was feeling at the 10-minute pace. So like 10-minute pace felt very like happy to just cruise there. Here at 8:30, it's like, well, what if you went just a little faster? So that's cool, that's encouraging. For anybody who saw the Hyperion Max long run workout from the other day, that was literally yesterday. And that was 11 miles at 3 easy, 8 at marathon pace. And so my legs are a little beat up. So to have a shoe feeling like encouraging and peppy is pretty nice. We like the feel of it. We'll go ahead and finish the mile out and we'll check back in. Mile 2 done there. Hopefully the construction noise over there is not too bad. 8:27 though, so right where we want to be for pacing. I was definitely holding back a little bit there. As I said, it wanted to pop, it wanted to play. That's one of my favorite things in a running shoe, is when it feels fun and playful. That's like one of the most encouraging things to me. As I'm spending more time in the shoe, I do feel the arch being a little pronounced where it's coming up. So if you don't love a lot of arch feel, that's something where you may want to try it on foot and walk around for a little while. I'm really curious how it's going to end up feeling. As I said, I did a kind of pseudo long run workout yesterday, and my legs are a little tired. My calves are a little beat up, but this feels playful. So I'm super curious how this feels as we go run this last one, sub 7. I am going to only take what the shoe gives me, so I'm definitely not going to press here. And we've got some wet ground, so just things I'm being mindful of as we're going into this last mile. We'll go ahead and check in once we get started. So that is what our 6:46 pace currently looks like. Honestly, lungs feel fine. We've been like at 6:45 or so the whole time. It's definitely just the legs holding me back. Definitely feeling some residual fatigue from the run yesterday. And honestly, this is maybe my least favorite pace to run so far. That 8:30 felt like the sweet spot for the amount of play you get out of it. We'll go ahead and finish this out and we'll check back in. All right, so that was a 6:45 mile. We were basically like flatlined pace-wise that entire time. I didn't really hardly deviate off that 6:45, but plus minus like a second. I felt less of the rocker there, which was interesting. I said that was my least favorite pace so far, which is a little unfortunate. I feel like that's where it should have been more playful, but that's where like, I think the comparison earlier on, this leaning more towards like the Nova Blast or like a Rebel, where it's softer, plusher, but still has good energy return, instead of like an Evo SL. Evo SL was just like a whole other category in my book, where it didn't want to do those easy paces a lot, but man, when you started ripping into it, it was cranking. Another thing that I did want to mention was I really liked the feel in that 8:30 pace. The ground contact time just felt super short, which is awesome. Like it felt like I hit kind of on my heel still, like the front of my heel, which is normal for me. but then it felt like I was just getting off of the forefoot so fast. Really enjoyed that. So I'll go ahead, do a stride, and then I'll break us down for who might want this, who might not, the value of the shoe, where it might fit in your rotation, like all those big things that you want to know if you're thinking about actually getting a shoe like this. So stride first. All right, so we just pulled our laps up. That was 4:37 pace for 90 meters or so. So relatively quick, and it felt good. It felt fine. Nothing super spectacular. I don't really feel the need to do another one. I don't think it would really give us a whole lot of information there. So we'll go ahead and do the final breakdown here. Again, the stride was okay. Nothing crazy. Felt like plenty of bounce. But, you know, when you start getting up that far on the forefoot, like it's just kind of going to be that way anyhow. Yeah. Okay, so let's break down who this is for, who it's not for, where it fits in your rotation, and the value, because you guys know I'm a big value guy. So who is this shoe for? I think somebody that wants a more fun feeling daily cruiser, easy run up to maybe some like steady effort pace. It just doesn't feel like something I'm going to be pulling for like marathon paced efforts or anything faster than that. Who is it not for? I think somebody that wants to get really fast or like have something that's going marathon pace and beyond. Fit wise, who's it for and not for? I think they did a good job on the fit and feel here. There's nothing really big in a standout kind of way, which is probably good for you at home. You should expect whatever your norm is to be the normal here. Where does it fit in your rotation? I definitely think, again, that's going to be leaning more towards your easy day shoe where you have a little more fun than, I don't know, a ghost or a ride or something in that vein. So as always, I answer the question, do I think it could be a one shoe rotation? Sure. If you aren't as worried about performance, if you just want a good shoe that can go cruise a whole bunch of things, yeah, by all means, this would totally be good. I liked the feel of this more than I thought I was going to, even just from when I had it on in the store. I don't know why. This one just felt really good when I was out running, but not performance oriented, which is interesting for an endorphin line shoe to not feel very performance oriented, but that's okay. You just have to take it for what it is. So if I were to build a rotation with this, where would it be or what would I do? This would be a daily shoe for sure. That's where I think it fits in best. That's where it would slot. And then, you know, a two shoe, I would want something that would go faster, that's maybe nylon plated. This and the Endorphin Pro would be solid. I think the Pro might be a little overkill for daily use, but you could do it. Maybe a really max stack cushion shoe that can go fast. And that could be something like a Super Blast or a Mega Blast, or, well, I know neither of those are plated actually, but both of them feel like they would do that well. Maybe a Nike Zoom Fly, that feels like it would go faster. I'm still trying to figure out what my favorite marathon paced shoe is. Like, I liked the Hyperion Max yesterday, but it was good, not great. I'm still trying to figure out what my great one is. I love the Super Blast, not plated. It'd be cool if there was something like that, like maybe the Sonic Blast. I'm not sure, because I haven't had the Sonic Blast myself yet, but maybe something like that where you have something that can go as fast as you need it to, almost something that you could race in, and then pair that with this, and then the fast shoe does everything from marathon pace and up, and then you've got this for everything and down. Interestingly, I do think this would pair well with the Evo SL, because this did the 10-minute and 8:30 paces like really well, whereas I didn't think the Evo SL did those two paces well, but it did the sub 7-minute pace like particularly well, which makes me wonder if the Boston from Adidas would be a good one, because you get those carbon rods. I'm interested how that would feel. I also have not had the Boston, but something that would go faster than this is what I would pair it with ideally. And then the third shoe I would add would be something with the higher cushion. That's kind of where that would be. Value-wise, is this worth $150? If you're looking at the broad market, absolutely. I think you're getting more shoe from this than you are out of most $150 shoes. But I don't think that I'd be paying full price for this. This isn't one where I'd be like, yep, I'm going to go drop $150 on this. It may be a good shoe to pick up once it goes on sale. But that'll depend on you out there, obviously, your prerogative. If you happen to really love the shoe, then awesome. Yeah, it could be worth $150. But for me, maybe not something I'm dropping $150 on. If you have any questions, by all means, please drop them in the comments below. If this review was helpful, you can do one of two things to help support me. You can either take a look at the Ontos running brand, sign up for the hat wait list, grab a pair of socks, a shirt if you need it, or a quarter zip if it's still cold in your area, or you can go ahead and watch the next video. I've got a playlist here or here if you have any interest in those. Thanks so much. Do something good for your body. Take care. We'll see you in the next one.